Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we're switching it up. Thought it'd be a little more interesting to do it like this. But today, what we will be doing is going over so far the off-season moves. All the off-season moves that, well, not all of them, the important ones that have happened so far. So obviously, Giannis going to Miami. The big news that we got yesterday, Jaylen Brown going to the 76ers. Kawhi to the Raptors, and just very important moves I think that we should be going over. So let's get into it. Let's first start with the Giannis Antetokounmpo package. Obviously, in this trade, Miami gets Giannis and Bobby Portis. Obviously, Giannis is a former MVP, All-Star, all the good stuff, and Bobby Portis is a sizable role player. Then we have what the Bucks received. They received Tyler Hero, Kel'el Ware, Jaime Jaquez, and a pick swap, the 13 overall pick, and a few unprotected first round picks in 2031 and 2033. Honestly, for Milwaukee, great deal they could get. So I'm actually surprised that Miami made the trade. You know, every offseason we'd go into it, oh, they might make a trade, they might not. Never did, until now. And I think, honestly, this is great for, I guess, Miami. But this hurts their depth. Their depth is terrible. Especially with Norman Powell leaving, which honestly isn't too crazy that he actually left the team. But honestly, who knows? Because he was just an all-star. And honestly, Chicago's looking... They're looking mediocre as ever. I'm going to keep it a buck. But for Miami, this is a pretty good trade. But your problem is you have no depth. Who's really going to handle the ball? Is Davion Mitchell still going to be your point guard by the time the season rolls around? There's a lot of things that go into this that I feel like they need to work on, especially for this roster. And we'll see what they do by the time the season rolls around. Let's hope they actually get some depth, or first get some starting pieces. I know they brought back Andrew Wiggins, which is great. But yeah, it's on their end. It's all right. With Milwaukee, this helps a lot. They get draft capital. They get young players in Kel'el Ware and Jaime Jaquez, who honestly look very promising, alongside Tyler Hero, who was an all-star 2 seasons ago, who you could probably flip in a good trade in a team that's like desperate, in like maybe like Sacramento, you know, a team that's down bad. But yeah, I think I'm gonna grade this as honestly a B+ for the Heat. You get a superstar, you just don't have any depth anymore. That's the only reason why. And for Milwaukee, I'll also give this probably like an A-. You get really good draft capital for your superstar, 13 overall pick, who turned out to be, I'm forgetting his name. I think I'll put a picture of him. Put a picture of him on the screen. But yeah, overall, pretty decent trade. Next, we have Ja Morant being sent to the Portland Trailblazers. I'm going to keep it a buck. B- for Portland. I'm going to be harsh. Because, number one, yes, you got a 2-time All-Star guard in Ja Morant. But the thing is, you already have 4 point guards. You have Dame, who's coming back next year, Jrue Holiday, Scoot Henderson, and now Ja Morant. Not what you want to do. This is terrible. But honestly, only reason why it's not an F is because, actually, I'm gonna change it. It's a C. Just a mediocre shade, because what they gave out was honestly nothing. Jeremy Grant, who's, you know, solid. It's Jeremy Grant. And then Chris Murray, come on. No, nothing against Chris Murray, but it's just kind of like, you'd expect something a little bit more after you've seen like the 5 first-round picks they got for Desmond Bane, the picks they got from Jaren Jackson, and you know, you could have gotten maybe like a pick, maybe like a second rounder. The fact you got no picks and just cash consideration, it's kind of sucks. But yeah, so and on Memphis's end, I guess it's a C. You get Ja off the team, you get off his contract, but altogether, it's not. Both are just all right. Okay, Kawhi to the Raptors. Okay, did not expect this trade to go down. I think I just woke up and then I looked at my phone. Was it that? I think it was that trade. It was one of these trades. It was most likely the Kawhi one. He got sent back to Toronto, which honestly isn't too bad. You know, they got back BI. I know the Clippers actually got some depth to them with Grady Dick, Brandon Ingram. Honestly, this trade I see is kind of like a win-win, because obviously, you know, the Clippers have Darius. They were trying to get younger, but you know, Kawhi still being there at age of like 34, 35. We don't know how long Kawhi could be as good. And honestly, him staying on that Clippers team, there's no hope, especially with the roster around him. But now you bring him to this new team, and we've already seen how good Scotty was defensively. Colin Murray-Boyles is good defensively. Now you're adding Kawhi Leonard. This team next year is probably going to be the best defensive team that we'll see. And you know, it's kind of nice because everyone talks about, oh, is Kawhi going to get his jersey retired in Toronto? Now maybe, because now that he's back in, you know, Canada, he'll have his, you know, I'm actually excited. I will be watching that game opening night. I don't know if it's going to be in Toronto. I'd hope so, because that's kind of interesting. But honestly, overall, good trade on both the Clippers and the Raptors trade. Honestly, you needed that score in Kawhi. You needed, you know, the way Kawhi plays, it fits seamlessly into this. You know, Emmanuel Quickley's coming back, RJ Barrett. Obviously, you have your bench pieces, Colin Murray-Boyles, Jacoby Walter. Honestly, huge trade. It's really good. And yeah, which for Toronto, I actually give it an A+. I'm happy on how they're gonna fit. For the Clippers, B-. You get younger, you get BI, but the thing is, what are you going? I think they might flip him for draft picks. But the thing is, who really wants Brandon Ingram? I know he just came off an All-Star season, but still a little skeptical about Brandon Ingram. Let's now talk about my least favorite trade. Don't know why they did this. Don't know why this happened. Did not expect this. Jaylen Brown is now a Sixer. If you told me that like last year, or like beginning of the summer, I'd look at you crazy. Cause who in the world would trade Jaylen Brown, a Finals MVP, literally 3 years ago? 2 years ago? 2024? Yeah, 2 years ago. Your Finals MVP 2 years ago. He just came off MVP like season where he was averaging 30. Yes, they lost in the playoffs to the Philadelphia 76ers, but still, like, you still could have met expectations. But now, and you know, they were the second seed last year when they were supposed to be a bottom feeder team. Now look at them. Now they are gonna be a bottom feeder team. And now you have Paul George, who, yes, had a decent season last year, but what is your plan for this? You know, there's no real direction that I'm seeing with this Jaylen Brown, Paul George trade on the Celtics end of it. Are you trying to be contenders? Because it clearly doesn't look like it. Because next year their starting lineup is looking like, you know, Payne Pritchard, Derek White, Jason Tatum, Paul George, Jason Tatum, and Mitchell Robinson. That's a playoff team. That's not a championship team. This isn't 2018 PG. This is 2026 PG. The guy has a terrible contract. This guy's averaging 17 not even 17. He's averaging like 12 points per game, I'm pretty sure. I have to search that up, but 12 points per game. Who do you? And you traded Jaylen Brown, your finals MVP, and this is an 8++ on the Sixers end. I'm so happy because all these years they relied on Joel Embiid being healthy. Now they don't have to rely on Embiid being as healthy. This helps them significantly, and I'm honestly really happy for the Sixers. Sixers fans, I know they're happy too about this trade. No one was expecting this. I looked down on I was at a family gathering. I looked down on my phone. I just see Jaylen Brown got traded. Where? I opened up the notification to the Sixers. Because I know there was talks about them trading him for Giannis, which is honestly not too bad. But like, I'd much rather have Giannis than PG. They didn't have to make this is a move that they did not need to make. They could have just kept with their guys and just ran it back. Obviously, they let go of Vooch and everyone, but still, you could have just ran it back. You would have been perfectly fine. No, what do? They decide, let's just trade. They were actively trying to trade Jaylen Brown. I know the Cavs were in talks with Evan Mobley, which also would have been a better trade package. I know a few other teams were interested. I think Portland was interested in Jaylen Brown, but they was just like, what's going on? Honestly, this offseason has been crazy. I'm very excited for next season. But yeah, I think that's the important trades. Obviously, you have Marcus Smart going to Houston, Norman Powell to Chicago. I feel like these are minor moves. But honestly, altogether, this has been a really exciting offseason. We have more of the offseason to go. I'm excited where the road takes us. So I'll see y'all next time. I'll see y'all.